Noticing the climate changes, the oil shortage and ever-increasing air pollution, it is quite evident that mobility has to be carbon dioxide neutral in the future. The future belongs to electromobility, a technology that ensures eco-friendly, quiet and efficient vehicles will be on our roads. E-cars and hybrid vehicles emit fewer exhaust gases than cars with combustion engines. Even if electric power is produced by conventional means, it has been found in many studies that electric vehicles result in reduced life cycle emissions. The benefits are higher if power comes from renewable sources. The Boston Consulting Group predicts that electric vehicles will have a market share of up to 50% by 2030. But what does switching to electromobility mean? And what are its consequences? So, let us first understand what electromobility is. In simple terms, electromobility or e-mobility is the use of electric cars as well as e-bikes or pedelecs, electric motorbikes, e-buses, e-trucks, e-rickshaw, metro rail or trains. The common feature of all of them is that they are fully or partly driven electrically, have a means of storing energy on board and obtain their energy mainly from the power grid. The transition to electric mobility can be eased by the introduction of hybrid vehicles. Hybrid vehicles combine two powertrain technologies. There are mainly two types of hybrid vehicles. In one, the internal combustion engine produces mechanical energy due to combustion of fuel, and this mechanical energy drives a motor which in turn drives the wheels. Such arrangements help us to ensure that the internal combustion engine always runs efficiently. When the power produced by the engine is more than what is required, the extra power is used to change the battery pack. So the battery pack of these vehicles are not charged from external sources. The second type of hybrid vehicles are called plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, or commonly called as PHEV. They can usually cover shorter distances with their electric drive, but their combustion engine means they can also manage long journeys without any problem. One major advantage of electric vehicles is regenerative braking. When conventional vehicle brakes or slows down, its kinetic energy is lost. But in case of electric vehicles, some part of the kinetic energy can be recovered through a process called regenerative braking. During regenerative braking, the electric motor acts as a generator and charges the battery pack. We shall now focus on the thing that powers the electric cars, the battery. Electric vehicle batteries differ from starting, lighting and ignition, SLI batteries, as they are designed to give power over sustained periods. Deep cycle batteries are used instead of SLI batteries for these applications. Batteries for electric vehicles are characterized by their relatively high power to weight ratio, specific energy and energy density. Smaller, lighter batteries reduce the weight of the vehicle and improve its performance.
India has different temperature. Some temperatures are as high as 50 degree and some are close to 0 degree. So our battery has a thermal insulation inside the battery where it can retain the temperature. You can say exhaust the excess heat if it comes inside, more heat is inside, or if the temperature outside is very cold, it will preserve the battery inside, retain the temperature of the inside. So it will work both sides to save it from excess cold and to preserve it from excess heat. This way, because the cell need an ideal temperature around 60 degree, 55 to 60 degree. So our battery can help us to, you can say, to keep the environment of the inside the battery suitable for the cells. So it will give you long-lasting life.
The most common battery types in modern electric cars are lithium-ion and lithium polymer batteries because of their high energy density compared to their weight. In terms of operating costs, the price of electricity to run an EV is a small fraction of the cost of fuel for equivalent internal combustion engines, reflecting higher energy efficiency. Let us discuss why electromobility is important in the current scenario. The emissions from the current fuel-powered vehicles are having a serious impact on the climate and environment. More and more carbon dioxide is entering the atmosphere, with the result that the Earth is becoming warmer and warmer. According to a survey by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, traffic is responsible for 23% of all CO2 emissions worldwide. Electric vehicles counter that. Unlike gasoline and diesel cars, they don't emit any CO2 when driven. Low-emission cars also mean better air quality and therefore have a positive effect on people's health. Combustion engines are on their way out because fossil fuels like oil, from which gasoline and diesel are produced, are finite resources. According to the study, Statistical Review of World Energy 2017, the world's currently known oil reserves will last almost 50 years given current levels of consumption. To enable alternative forms of powertrain to become established, many countries offer incentives to buy e-cars. Norway, for example, subsidizes them greatly. Since electric vehicles are run using electric power, electricity generated from any type of energy source can be fed to an electric vehicle. We cannot do that for conventional vehicles. The development of electromobility to the present day. Electromobility is regarded as a modern trend, but to be precise, it's not an invention of our times. Way back in 1867, and hence before the advent of the combustion engine, Werner von Siemens presented his electric generator based on the dynamo electric principle at the World's Fair in Paris. The first cars with an electric motor were presented at the end of the 19th century. That from the Belgian Camille Janetzi even set a record in 1899. It was the first road vehicle of any kind to reach a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. From the end of the 19th century, trains and trams were supplied with energy by overhead lines or power rails. The combustion engine had a disadvantage back then. Vehicles had to be cranked up at considerable effort to get started. Gasoline drives did not begin to displace other types of powertrain until 1911, when the electric starter was invented. From then on, e-vehicles were relegated to a niche existence, although they never completely disappeared. In the mid-1990s, a hybrid model came on the market in the shape of the Toyota Prius. In 2008, a Californian roadster built by Tesla became the first e-car on the road that was suitable for highways and lengthier distances. And now Tesla, along with other emerging companies in this industry, is showing us how an electricity-powered car is no less, if not better, than your average gasoline car. After entering commercial markets in the first half of the decade, electric car sales have soared. Only about 17,000 electric cars were on the world's roads in 2010. By 2019, that number has swelled to 7.2 million, 47% of which were in the People's Republic of China. 9 countries had more than 100,000 electric cars on the road. At least 20 countries reached market share above 1%. The 2.1 million electric car sales in 2019 represent a 6% growth from the previous year, down from year-on-year sales growth at least above 30% since 2016. The COVID-19 pandemic will affect global electric vehicle markets, although to a lesser extent than it will the overall passenger car market. Based on car sales data during January to April 2020, our current estimate is that the passenger car market will contract by 15% over the year relative to 2019. while electric car sales to passenger and commercial light-duty vehicles will remain broadly at 2019 levels. Second wave of the pandemic and slower than expected economic recovery could lead to different outcomes, as well as to strategize for automakers to cope with regulatory standards. India adds 30 million vehicles annually and has over 300 million vehicles on roads across the country. At the current growth rate, we are staring at doubling these numbers to over 600 million by 2030. Not only are we the fastest growing economy in the world, but also the third largest carbon emitting country that accounts for 7% of global carbon emissions. As a nation, we are facing a dichotomy of growth at the cost of climate change. By signing the Paris Agreement in 2015, India has shown its commitment to growing responsibly, which is a Herculean task. New Delhi announced its climate goal of reducing the emission intensity of the country's GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 from the 2005 level, and hence National Electric Mobility Mission Plan (NEMMP) was evolved. NEMMP aims to achieve national fuel security by promoting hybrid and electric vehicles in the country. Under NEMMP 2020, the government has launched faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles in India, FAME India scheme, to promote the manufacturing of electric and hybrid vehicle technology. Phase 1 of the scheme was initially launched for 2 years commencing from 1st April 2015, which was subsequently extended from time to time, and the last extension was allowed up to 31st March 2019. The first phase of the FAME India scheme was implemented through 4 focus areas, namely demand creation, technology platform, pilot project, and charging infrastructure. Market creation through demand incentives was aimed at incentivizing all vehicle segments, that is, two-wheelers, three-wheelers auto, passenger four-wheeler vehicles, light commercial vehicles, and buses. Based on the experience gained in the Phase 1 of FAME India scheme, it has been observed that a sufficient number of charging infrastructure is required to achieve the expected outcome of the plan, which is being addressed presently in Phase 2 of the FAME scheme.
अब काफ़ी अच्छा है कि सब जगह चार्जिंग पॉइंट मिल जाता है, एनवायरनमेंट के लिए बहुत अच्छा है ये, और मैं इसे चला के बहुत खुश हूँ।
Department of Heavy Industry notified Phase 2 of the scheme with the approval of Cabinet with an outlay of Rs 10,000 crore for 3 years commencing from 1st April 2019. The main objective of the scheme is to encourage faster adoption of electric and hybrid vehicles by offering upfront incentives on the purchase of electric vehicles and also by establishing the necessary charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Moreover, to help support National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, the Union Cabinet has approved the setting up of National Mission on Transformative Mobility and Battery Storage to drive clean, connected, shared, sustainable and holistic mobility initiatives. To support NEMP, Automotive Research Association of India, ARAI, a regulatory and an autonomous body affiliated to the Ministry of Heavy Industry and Public Enterprises, Government of India, has been playing a crucial role in assuring safe, less polluting, more efficient and reliable vehicles. It has set up Center of Excellence for Electric Mobility to support automotive industry for development, evaluation and certification of electric vehicles. Apart from ARAI, there are other government and public sector companies taking initiatives to achieve our mobility plan, such as the Center for Battery Engineering and Electric Vehicle, IIT Madras.
IIT Madras is interested in creating a sustainable public e-mobility facility in IIT campus as a demonstrator and incubator of sustainable development goals for the campus. This innovative flash charging technology has a lot of advantages as compared to other type of charging technologies. This will quickly charge the bus battery while the passengers get on and get out of the bus. This way, charging of the vehicles for hours in the depot can be avoided, and thus the size of the fleet can be reduced and we can have passengers capacity, carrying capacity can be increased. Also, it has advantages of saving 1,000 tons of carbon dioxide while running for about 6 lakhs kilometers in a year. Also, it is expected 30% of profit over compared to the diesel operated conventional vehicles.
Over 70 startups have been set up in India to support electromobility. On top of that, the support from the companies currently plying their trade in India has also risen. Already, MG Motors has announced the possibility of Rs 10 lakh all-electric SUV, giving a run for this price and range to Japanese competitors like Maruti Suzuki India, which itself is planning to bring a Wagon R electric in the alternative fuel badge.
Welcome to the future of mobility. When I say the future, yes, I'm talking about EV, electric vehicles. They are not only helping towards our environment, they are also helping towards the economy. Yes, they are helping towards our environment, as in there is no air pollution and there is no noise pollution if you are using an electric vehicle. Absolutely, I'll say that if you compare it with the electric or diesel vehicle, you'll say that it's almost free of cost.
Hyundai Motors Kona SUV has sold over 300 units in the past 6 months. Tata Motors too has launched an updated version of its Tigor EV, which now along with Mahindra's e-Verito has further diversified the electric vehicle market of India. Similar surprises in the two-wheeler space are expected to propel sales and lead to the much desired transition. Currently, there are 3 major players: Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors and Ather. Mercedes-Benz will debut its EQ, an upcoming family of battery electric vehicles to be assembled in its local plant at Pune. The list goes on and on with players spreading their electric prowess for the Indian market. On February 14, 2020, the first intercity electric bus was launched. The bus will transit between Mumbai and Pune twice every day. The bus seating capacity was 43. It is capable of running 300 kilometers on a single charge. The goal is to extend the service to other parts of Maharashtra as well. The Ministry of Union Transport is working under the target of converting all the buses into electric vehicles by 2022. The Department of Heavy Industries, operating under the Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises, has sanctioned 2636 electric vehicle EV charging stations under the FAME India scheme Phase 2. The stations are to be set in 62 cities in 24 states and union territories. The move aims to make sure at least one electric vehicle charging station is available in a grid of 4 km by 4 km area in the selected cities. Out of the 2636 charging stations to be constructed, 1,633 will be fast charging stations and 1,003 are to be slow charging stations. There have been initiatives towards promoting R&D in the field of electric mobility in India. Technology Information, Forecasting and Assessment Council, TIFAC, prepared an R&D plan with support from the Department of Heavy Industry and bringing together a large number of experts. The Department of Science and Technology is in the process of initiating an R&D program in the field of electric mobility. The Department of Science and Technology is working with the Bureau of Indian Standards to define standards related to charging of electric vehicles. Let's talk about the advantages of electromobility. Electricity is cheaper than fossil fuels. Moreover, electric vehicles require less maintenance and fewer repairs. There's no need to change the oil and filters, and there are no exhaust systems, timing belts or V-belts. The lithium-ion batteries used in e-cars have a long service life, boast a high energy density and can be recharged many times over. The batteries in e-cars are to be used in the future to stabilize smart grids, which would enable us to better store energy, even on the days when there is relatively less sunlight or wind. Electric cars deliver high performance and have a far higher efficiency than vehicles with a combustion engine. In the long run, the total cost of ownership of an e-car can be lower than a vehicle with a conventional drive. The use of electric vehicles frees up the fossil fuels and other non-renewable fuel resources to be used for other more important projects that necessarily require fuels to operate. For example, space exploration. The existing infrastructure used for the manufacturing of fossil fuel-powered vehicles can be altered to suit the production of electric vehicles. This will result in a judicious usage of the current infrastructure with little to no area wasted. We now envision the e-car of the future. Despite all the highly promising forecasts, electromobility is still in its infancy, not only as regards its low market share to date, but also from a technical perspective. Electromobility will only live up to the hopes pinned on it if the price of cars and batteries falls. Charging networks grow and also become more intelligent, and e-cars achieve a level of energy efficiency to make them ready for the market. A lot is happening, especially in terms of energy storage and charging technology. Companies and researchers are continuously working to enhance batteries in terms of their energy, density and ability to charge faster. Better batteries will increase the range and reduce charging time, two crucial incentives for users. A comprehensive network of charging stations is vital if electromobility is to become established. If more manufacturers build e-cars and batteries become cheaper, the vehicles could achieve the breakthrough within a few years. That is why the physicist and e-mobility expert Richard Randall predicts at least every 10th new car worldwide will be an electric one by 2022, and by 2030, India will be a leading example in the field.
Hi, it's a very big day for me as I just bought my first new car. Initially, I was confused about which car to buy, but then I chose electric mobility over diesel and petrol engines. It's an eco-friendly car and I care about the environment. It's a low maintenance car and also it doesn't even increase my electricity bill. It's the future of mobility.